Happy Transformation Tuesdays, you guys. I'm super excited. Today is part 1 of chakras and stories. Now, chakras, you can pronounce that word any way you want to, but the point is to learn about it. So if you're into energies and into atmospheres, vibrations, then this is right up your alley. And I came up with chakras and stories last year, actually unknowingly. The quarantine actually became a blessing to me and my family because I had an opportunity to actually go deep within and learn some things about ebony, okay? And it changed my life. You know, I came across this principle. I don't consider myself to be a religious person. I consider myself to be a spiritual queen with divine tendencies, okay? And that's simply because I feel like religion places God in a box. If he's all-knowing or she's all-knowing, all-powerful, then I feel like religion just traps them saying, this is the only way that this can help you. This is the only way that this can heal you. This is the only way that, and I don't necessarily subscribe to that, okay? So I consider myself to be a spiritual person, and this whole principle of chakras is something that just totally changed my life. I'm going to be very vulnerable in this. It's going to be an 8-part series. Today is part 1 because I need to give you a little background. I need to give you a little background on chakras, and I need to give you a little background on my story so that as we go through each chakra every week, you can see how this energy wheel, this particular energy wheel that week helped, healed, and balanced me out. The main principle that you should know about chakras is to balance. Some will call that the yin and yang or whatever you want to call it. Your chakra can be overactive or underactive, and we're going to talk about those different things in the weeks to come. So a little background story. Last year, we all know COVID. You know, we're not going to say that name going forward, but I just want to put it out there. We all know that came into the picture, and quarantine happened. When 2020 came in, I had already heard about chakras, and I made up my mind that I was going to take each chakra per month, 1 chakra per month. There's 7 of them, okay, and learn about it and really work on myself. And that's what I did. Every month, the first 7 months of 2020, I worked on each individual chakra. After that, I would go and review all of them in each month in the months to come. So I have a lot of information. That's why today is just background on it and background on me, because there's no way I could fit all this limitless information into this one live. You have a life, I have a life, we all like to live, okay? So we're not going to do that, okay? So a little background history on chakras, and I have my little notes here, so if you ever see me looking down, because I have my little notes, I want to make sure I stay on track, and so that we don't get off track. But chakras are the energy centers of the body. There's 7 of them, okay? The chakra system originated in India between 1500 and 500 BC. And it's attributed to the Hindu and yoga tradition. And I respect all religions. Even though I just said I wasn't religious, I still respect everyone's individual beliefs. This is one that actually, it helped me. That's why I'm so excited, because it's like, I can't wait to share with you how this helped me. Okay? The healthy chakras are directly connected to the health of the physical body, the mind, and the emotional well-being of a person. Okay? Chakras are spinning wheels of energy. So just imagine your body going down your center. There are 7 different wheels of energy, and they're just going, okay? The wheels of energy are they have the loving responsibility of taking in, incorporating, and emanating the energy to keep us functioning at optimal levels. This is when you start getting into blockage, guys. You'll hear people saying my chakra was blocked, or you can hear me say, I said in one of my videos, my throat chakra is open, because imagine all this energy is going. It's supposed to go up here, but every time it tries to go up, it's hitting something. It can't move, and it's just what it's doing. I believe this is what causes stagnancy in life. I believe this is what causes your life just to not be what you want it to be. And it could be because it keeps hitting. If you remove that blockage, it can do what it needs to do. And that's what I want everyone to do. Let's heal the world, okay? Your chakras, like I just said, should stay open and aligned as they correspond to bundles of nerves of major organs. This is A spiritual thing, yes, but it can, some say, be a physical thing. I honestly believe that your body can manifest physically things, like when you're stressed, you'll get a headache sometimes, or your hair will fall out, or as a woman, your cycle might be irregular. It could be anything, but it's just a physical manifestation of some things that are going on, okay? Correspond to bundles of nerves, major organs, and areas that are energetic body that affect our emotional and physical well-being. We're back to physical and emotional and mental well-being. Wellness is just not a physical thing. Wellness is a mental thing, emotional thing, spiritual thing, financial thing, social thing, sexual thing. Wellness is just all encompassing. And so it's important to me that I be well, and it's important that I feel that others should be well, okay? Now, there are 7 chakras, as I said. The first one is the root. And this is the part of the principle that I love so much, because it literally starts from your butt. Well, the base of your spine. Chakras actually work from the bottom up. The highest chakra is your crown, and you're dealing with your third eye, so on and so on. But the first chakra is your root, and that's located at the base of your spine. We're going to go in depth with the root next week. Now, the crazy thing about that is, like, this principle, it just hits you from the very beginning. Because if we're afraid to deal with ourselves, if we're afraid to deal with what's bothering us, if we're afraid to deal with what's triggering us, then we're never going to heal. And you guys, as a mother, as a woman, as a person in this community, it is my responsibility to heal so that I can be the best that I need to be for those around me, those that I love, and that's just how I feel about it, okay? So I started off the 7 chakras. Root deals with I am. Sacral deals with I feel. Solar plexus deals with I do. Heart deals with I love. Throat deals with I speak. Third eye deals with I see. And the crown deals with I know, okay? So those are the 7. Next week, okay, we're going to start with the root chakra. So the root chakra asks these questions. What in my external world helps me to feel safe? Okay? What about in my internal world? So let me repeat that, because I want you to think on this as this week progresses about this. And like I said, we're going to be talking about the root chakra next week. We're going to hit it dead on running. And what you need to ask yourself is, what in my external and internal world helps me to feel safe? So think about that. Journal about that if you get a chance. I will only be doing these lives. Chakras and Stories is going to be every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will answer questions at the end of each live to see who's on, who's doing what. But it's important to me that I stay focused, okay? Because I'll get so excited and we'll be way over here, and I need us to stay right here, okay? So now that we've ended the chakra portion of that, and I encourage you to do your own research, you guys. I'm no guru, but I am a woman that has conquered and healed a lot of things in her life, and I'm willing and ready to share that with others. And like I said, this is one of those principles, these things that have really helped my life, and I wanted to share it with everyone else, okay? But I encourage you to do your own research. We're on our phones all the time. Go on Google chakras, Google history, Google whatever you want to know. Fact check me if you want to. I don't care. Ain't no shame in my game. I do my research too. So that's why I encourage you to do your own as well. All right, so now here comes the stories part. Let me drink some water, because now Ebony's going to spill the tea of her life. All right, you guys, so this is the part of Chakras and Stories that helps me, and it can get emotional at times, because healing is a journey. It's not something that you can do in a day. It's not something you can do in a month. It's, to me, I feel like it's a lifelong thing. It's a lifelong thing to heal. When I was 8 years old, my parents got divorced. I am a child of divorce. And the story in its essence is not pretty. Okay? And it's important that I share these things about myself, because that's how I'm going to tie in the chakras and why they work, and how healing from those things, helping to open my chakras, help me to be firm and become and blossom into who I am now. Who I am now is a very successful woman who has businesses, who have raised her children, because my children are pretty much grown. We're going to talk about that too coming up. Who's lived her life, who's loved, who's lost, who's kissed her love in a life laying in a casket, who's done things that I'm not necessarily proud of, who said things that I'm not necessarily proud of. And I'm not ashamed to admit those things, because those things made me who I am today and has allowed me the opportunity to share those things with you. When I was 8 years old, my parents got divorced. I instantly went from an 8-year-old little girl to a second parent. And the divorce was my father's decision. He decided that he was in love with someone else, I'm assuming, and he left. Now, I don't want anyone to mistake my story as me bashing anyone. I could never do that. I love my parents. I've learned in this journey, especially through healing my chakras, that we all are human. We all make mistakes. And at that time in their life, they made the decisions that they thought were best for them. And when it's like that, you can tend to forget that you're a parent too. You know, there's little people that's dependent on you for everything. The meal, you know, as parents, we tend to only focus on the meal, the clothing. We tend to only focus on the roof over the head, but we kind of forget the heart of the child, the creativity of the child, the mind of the child, the purpose and mission in life of that child, because we're still living our lives. You know, as I've looked over my life, I've had to apologize to myself for the thoughts I thought about my parents, the anger that I had, the why me syndrome, the everything that I blamed, and had to learn, you know what, Ebony, you need to pick yourself up. That's a part of your story, not your whole story. And you can heal from that, and you can move from that. And so my dad, you know, he married my stepmom, and my life was forever changed. My mom instantly had to start working graveyard shifts to take care of me and my brother. I became the second parent that time to my little brother. I'm the big sister. Yes, I'm the oldest. To my little brother, and I also, during that time, my mom and my aunt lived in the same city, so not only after school was it my little brother, it was my little cousin. So instead of Ebony coming home and watching cartoons like everyone else, Ebony at 8 years old had to come home and make all the cereal, fix the snacks, make sure everyone else's homework was done, plus do chores. Like, my childhood as I knew it was over. And that shaped so much of who I grew up to be. Of the high functioning anxiety, of the depression, of the low self-esteem, of the lack of self-love, like that issue in itself. And we're going to get more in depth with my parents' divorce next week when I talk about the root chakra, because as I healed, I learned that almost everything that I felt about myself and that wasn't right with me went right back to that. That was the root issue of my life. And from that root, all these branches grew. And so that's a big part of my story. The next part of my story, my mom, you know, she had to rediscover her life. The man that she loved was gone. He wasn't sleeping with her every night anymore. He wasn't there to pick the kids up from school anymore. And she didn't have, who did she have, you know? And so she fell in love with church. She fell in love with God. And who can fault her, baby? You know what I'm saying? And so that starts a whole nother chapter in my life, because remember, during this time, I'm a child. I'm basically traveling with my mom and, you know, my parents and their life and their decisions. Remember, I told you at 8, my decisions went away. I became the second parent. I became the big sister. I became the responsible one. Okay? So my mom, you know, she joins the church. It's a big thing. Within that, she finds her calling, and she's a preacher. She finds out she wants to preach the gospel. Praise God. Okay? And so You know, we were the type of family, we were in church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm not exaggerating, baby. We was in every time those doors were open, we were there. Okay, to the point me and my brother started working in the ministry. I was on the praise team. I was in the youth department. I was doing the sound. I was like, look, where's my childhood? What happened? Where's the childhood? Okay, so my mom becomes a minister. Well, in the process of that, a few years down the line, at 15 years old, guess what happens? Ebony finds out she's pregnant. So wait a minute. You had a baby yes, I had a baby at 15 years old. My son at birth was 10 pounds, 8 ounces. I had the biggest baby in the hospital at 15 years old. I had a 4th degree perineum tear from a natural childbirth at 15. And why that's important is because your sacral chakra is located where? In your perineum. I literally destroyed that chakra giving birth at 15. And we're going to talk about that one after the roots. That's like week 3. Okay? Then from there, what happens? Well, I got to provide for this child. So now, you know, I can't really go to school because guess what? I never stopped being the responsible one at 8. I was now still the responsible one. I was still the one doing the chores. I was still the one cooking the meals. I was still the one. And now I had a baby on top of that. Oh, and we were still in church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So then I entered the working world. No prom for Ebony. No high school graduation for Ebony. Ebony had to get her GED because Ebony still had a family to take care of, and Ebony still had a child. And well, dang, Ebony, you know. And in between all of this, Ebony now got a baby daddy. We're gonna talk about them jokers too. I got 2 of them. You know, some would say I should be ashamed for what? For my children are grown. My oldest is 24, my youngest is 16, and I got 2 baby daddies, okay? So we on the first baby daddy era. Because it's like 2 different eras, because it was 2 different Ebonies, that's why I got 2 different ones, okay? And so anyway, so my baby daddy, he comes with his own thing. He comes with his own thing in itself. No shade to him, you know? Okay, going along, I'm working, I'm living my life. I done got jobs, got my GED. Now I'm getting my little CNA, my little certified nurse's assistant. Okay, now I'm changing diapers, and now I'm working. And now I'm creating trauma bonds of friendships. Notice I ain't mentioned nothing about self-love. I ain't mentioned nothing about confidence. I ain't mentioned nothing about financial stability. I ain't mentioned none of that stuff. Why? Because that was not here. That was not what was on my mind. I was just trying to survive. And I think a lot of times people don't understand that survival in itself is a grind. Like, it's a grind getting up every day making sure your kids got food and diapers. And it's a grind making sure your house is clean. And it's a grind to make, and then don't try to fall in love in the midst of all of this and try to go out in the midst of all of this. Like, what life? What quality of life are you living? Okay? Was I living? You know, that I didn't have one, you know? And I'm not ashamed to admit that. So in the midst of doing all this work and stuff, I'm creating these friendships that are not good for me at all. I'm creating friendships that is just not beneficial to my purpose in life. And it sucks, you know, because you want to have friends. Okay, well then, you know, I work to the point what ends up happening. I go on, and there's a lot of more intricate details in my story, but I'm going to break those down as we deal with each chakra in the weeks to come. From the working, that's a whole big thing in the friendships. Oh my God, I decided to pack up my life and move all the way to El Paso, Texas. Child, Jesus. Literally. But what people don't know is before I even came to El Paso, Texas, me and my children were living in a hotel. Yes, we were. with a dog. How you have a dog in a hotel, girl? Like, what you got going on with yourself, girl? Hair falling out, bills is due, ain't in love no more. Oh my God, like this, oh my God. Yo, what in the world? Yes, living in a hotel. Technically, I was already homeless before I even got to El Paso, Texas. I didn't know it because I was living in a hotel. I wasn't in a shelter, but you know, driving to work every day and everything. Struggling, grinding, just trying to take care of my kids. Now remember, I told y'all the story from 8 up until this point now. So the opportunity came for me to change my life. And I packed up my kids. I had, my brother said I could, because my brother was living here. That little brother that I was telling y'all about that I was taking care of at 8, him and his family had already lived in El Paso. And so I talked to him. I'm like, look, you know, I would come move there. The only thing keeping me in Raleigh is my job, right? That's what I told him. They fired me 2 weeks later. They fired me 2 weeks later. Like, my life is falling away at the hinges, honey. Like, I'm like this close to saying forget it all. And I'm not even exaggerating. I'm there. Like, we're right there, okay? And I'm like, I can't. So they fired. I called my brother. I said, you won't believe it. Remember I told you the only thing keeping me here was my job? Well, they just fired me. He was like, for what? I was like, I don't know, because it's a right to work state. They don't have to, they can, but they don't have to tell you why they're firing you. They just might not like what you wore to work that day, so you're fired. And I was doing the best, and they fired me, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, well, you think me and my kids can come? My brother said, well, you know, I'm talking to my wife about it. So he talked to my sister-in-law about it. They said, okay, but I couldn't bring my dog. So the dog that thugged it out with us in the hospital, in the hotel, we had to take the dog to the pound. Most heartbreaking day for me and my kids. Y'all don't understand. It was a very heartbreaking thing. We had to, but I had nowhere else to go. I had nothing else to do. I did have my car though. So I packed up my car, packed up my kids, drove all the way across country. 24 hours to El Paso, Texas. And that started a whole nother journey, child. A whole nother journey. Okay? A journey I'm thankful for. But my purpose and intention of helping people with this information is so that you guys can prevent the pitfalls and maybe learn from my mistakes, learn from my lack of whatever you think it was that I was lacking, and become better. See, it's, you know, I'm kind of like I consider myself, now that I'm 40, to be an elder. And it's not fair to hold this information to myself when it could possibly help someone. I'm sure you've laughed at me through my whole spilling the tea on myself and all of that. That's pretty great, but take in the information, you feel me? So I get to El Paso. I've been in El Paso now, this November be 9 years. And in that 9 years, it's almost a decade, my life has changed so drastically that it's crazy. And this is where we're going to start to get in the weeks to come, into the throat chakra, into the heart chakra, and to the third eye, and into the crown finally. Now, I've pretty much gone over the time that I had set to do this first video, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and wind it on down a little bit. I haven't given all my story, but that's basically. Next week, as I said, we're going to start talking about the root chakra. R-O-O-T. Please Google it. Please start researching for yourself. Please start asking yourself these questions. Please start working on the healing. Now, it's not, I'm going to tell you something. I know this series is not going to be for everybody, because automatically people have a negative connotation with healing, because healing means something's hurting. And I get that. But you know how free it is to not hurt anymore? I think people are so used to hurting that healing scares them. Like, it literally scares them to be well. I want you to know it's okay to be well now. It's okay to come out your shell now. It's okay to fall. It's okay to rise. It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. It's okay. Who cares if nobody likes you? Who cares if nobody's hanging with you? Who cares if they're not on your post? I guarantee you they see it though. My overall intention with this whole series of chakras and story is for you to have to unblock all that gook and muck and crap that's all up in you, because it's there. It might not be there in the physical, but it's there in the spiritual. Stop blocking yourself. Remember the blockage I told y'all about? We ain't doing no more blocking. Keep your aura clean, okay? So remember, next week we're going to talk about the root chakra. I'm super excited about that. Remember, the root chakra asks the question, what in my external world and my internal world help me feel safe? What in your world makes you feel safe? This is what we're going to talk about next week. What in your world makes you feel safe? Now, if you are sitting there and you're thinking nothing makes me feel safe, then this is the perfect series for you. Because when I first heard that story, I heard that question, I was like, well, Dad, what does, I don't know. Because it seemed like every time I turned around, I was getting stabbed in the back, or I don't know, where do I fit? Like, woo. Because remember, I told you at the root was my parents' divorce. At the root was abandonment. I deal with abandonment issues. We're going to get into it. And at the end of these 8 weeks, it's going to be amazing. Okay, you guys? It's going to be super amazing. So I'm going to wind down now. I'm going to stop. Who's on live? If you're still on live, wave your hands at me. I don't like to ignore people, but at the same time, I have to stay focused. And some of y'all be distracting me. Let's see. The last comment I see is from lovely Lena _1. Hey, Lena. So grateful you made that trip. Listen. I'm past grateful I made that trip, okay? Past grateful, honey. Through it all. Through the ups, the downs, everything that let me tell you something about El Paso. El Paso, Texas has been to me a beautiful experience for me and my children. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I've been here now almost 10 years and I feel absolutely amazing. I healed here. I became who Ebony is here in El Paso, and I couldn't be even, I couldn't even be more thankful for that, okay? So I'm going to end now, you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the first part of Chakras and Stories. My goal is for it to not go over ever 20 minutes. That's my intention. But if you get the good and get the flowing, I can't make no promises. So you guys have a super awesome, phenomenal day. Feel free to share this video. It's going to get better and better, you guys. The purpose of the day was just to get out there, and I did that. So you guys have a super awesome, blessed day. Stay phenomenal, stay awesome, stay on top, and keep doing you, baby. You rock. Bye.